Monday. Just checking quickly to make sure that people can hear me over on X. Good morning, everyone. Looks like they can. Let me throw a little GM in the chat. Good morning. Let's get this party started on a Monday, man. Recovering, getting back in the swing of things after the 4th of July. Obviously, the big news, Michael Saylor. Got it here. Michael Saylor sells 3,588 Bitcoin for $216 million to fund dividends on our digital credit securities. What was interesting is we look at Saylor. What's interesting is he posted the orange dots, posted the orange dots, much like he always has when he buys. Let me see if I can find that. I talked to him the week. I'm like, I don't think he's going to buy. Interesting. He posted that. Look, Bitcoin is digital energy. He posted this as if he was going to buy, like he always does when he buys, and then he winds up selling. So interesting pump fake there. Jeremy on X, he posted like, hey, he's a true KOL, man. Pumps the price. And hey, Artie, GM, a good friend from X over there. Follow me on YouTube. Help me get some stuff going on over there. Good morning to you, Artie. Yeah, so this is interesting. I saw these over the weekend. Of course, I don't have a show here on X or YouTube, but I did go ahead and say on my update I did for in the update I do for TikTok, I'm like, I don't think he's going to set buy, but it was interesting, right? Because it makes sense for him just to sit and do nothing, but looks like he went ahead and sold. So, he's doing what he has to do to keep offset the FUD and whatnot. And we'll see how strategy and STRC is doing, but it's kind of incrementally taking these steps to kind of get back in line, get the confidence back in his products. But yeah, interesting. Of course, there was a big sell-off, as you can see here, as soon as the news hit, boom. And now that's continuing. So we were at, we're almost 64 over the weekend. There's even over the day. We were 63,931 yesterday, looking good. And now we're all the way down to 61. So we're down $2,000, but you can see where we dropped off. And now maybe if we look at on the hourly, we're down 1.7% for the day. But you see on the hourly, we're still kind of, not surprising. Last time, remember, he sold 32 Bitcoin. We dropped 20%. Now we've dropped not even 2%. So I guess we'll call that good. We'll see. Now, the rest of the market seems to be doing okay. Stock market was looking to open up in the green. Let's see what it did here. So the traditional market, not that put off by it. So NASDAQ right now, we're 7 minutes into the trading day. NASDAQ up 0.59 or 0.56. Dow up 0.06 and the S&P up 0.28. So those are going good, looking good. Let's take a look over here. Oil is 68.66. So, we're not hearing a whole bunch about the wreck. Of course, they had the Khomeini funeral over the weekend. We're not hearing too much news, but we do know that, the price of gas is oil's falling the price of gas. That's really what we care about, because we can't really believe the news that comes out anyway, to be honest with you, because it's kind of all over the place. So now, is this live? Trump opened the White House. I thought he was headed to Turkey. This saying he's live ringing the bell to Hey, Mr. Heine, GM, and Coachmaster GM. Good friends from X coming at me over on YouTube, which is definitely helping the algorithm over there since I have only a little over 100 followers. So appreciate everyone. Also, a good crowd on X this morning. Yeah, this is the news. How are we going to digest this selling? Let's see what STRC is doing. STRC 87.94. Remember, got all the way in the low to mid 70s, and so it's up a little bit. So this is good, obviously, probably for long term for STRC and MSTR. But of course, if it hurts the price of Bitcoin, it kind of hurts them on the short term as well. So, so markets looking okay. Let's look at all the crypto markets here. Obviously, we know Bitcoin here. Let it refresh. It has. Look at the hourly. It has popped off the bottom. Maybe not. Nope. Still headed down. So, yeah, like I say, a big deal when we have not only our biggest buyers now no longer with us, but he's now selling. So it is what it is. I mean, I think he's doing what he has to do. I think he wants to have 2 years worth of those dividends set aside. I know he has about 18 months before this, and said they may sell another, $1.25 billion in Bitcoin. They just sold, that was 216 million. So might be 1/5 of what they've authorized themselves to sell. Will they keep selling every week and stuff? I don't know. We'll have to see what their strategy is, how they play it. But at least this, I mean, it wasn't as bad. It was good that he sold that 32, because that was quite a shock to the whole system back then, right? He kind of let it percolate a little bit, came out with their strategy, and of course they were getting hit with all kinds of their STRC. They've got a not a peg, but whatever they call it, 100. Yeah, Quantum makes a good point. GM Saylor cheated. What happens now? The only large buyer is selling. Well, we're about to find out, right? We're about to find out. Will some other people step up? Who knows? Will this crash the market? We're a little below now. We did close the week above the 52-week moving average while we closed the day, and how this affects. I mean, obviously, I don't think it'll be a knee jerk. It was, a few months ago when he sold 32 Bitcoin and we tanked 20%. So strategy so far of just kind of easing us into it. You throw a frog in boiling pot, he'll try and jump out. But if you just slowly turn up the heat, he'll just kind of get lackadaisical till he's boiling to death. So he's just kind of slowly turning up the heat one step at a time. We'll see how it works, but we'll see. But yeah, officially now down 2%. Ethereum 1735, down 1.6%. XRP $1.14, actually down 1.6% for the day. And Solana 79.91.96, let's call it 79.92, down 1.4%. So not quite as bad. But anyway, that's where we're at. Check back with it. Man, this Ansem is crazy. This Ansem token, the Black Bull, we talked about it. I thought it was crazy at 110, 120 million, but then I saw it wasn't going to go down. Now it's continued to go up. I bought a little around between 2 and 3. Not a whole lot, but just I saw the narrative wasn't leaving. Well, geez, it wicked up all the way over 400. It wicked to 401.42. We're now sitting at 382, officially 28.14% for the dips. Yeah, Scott, great show this morning. Does the Heine community show on X every morning at 8:30 to about 9:30 EST. So join that great community, doing a lot with education. And Scott also usually helps me co-host when he can. When IRL job doesn't get, helps me co-host the GM Bitcoin Morning Show. Been doing for 5 years now. So Yeah, buy the dips, man. There's a good opportunity. We'll see what happens. Black Bull is crazy. Of course, a couple others meme coins I'm playing with. Ankita, he's been sick, hasn't put out too much content, but we've kind of found a floor at 31. And my guy Jason Williams, the Bitcoin Bull, holding at 1.1 million. He's doing some airdrops and things like that. I got an airdrop over the weekend. I think Scott and a few other people did. Whoever was holding and memeing and having some fun with it, But we'll see what happens. Big guy in the space, testing some different things. It was kind of cool to get an airdrop. Usually you wind up losing money. Of course, I got in not super early, but I got in fairly early, went all the way up, and then that's when my data crashed on my phone. Couldn't sell any, wrote it back down, but now we're kind of back up. So that's cool, holding at 1.1 million. But Saylor selling. That's it, guys. Girls, we just have to see what happens with that. We just have to wait and see what happens with that. So far, so good, down about 2%. See if we can hold above this 52-week moving average. According to ADP, we saw these numbers last week. There's a cooling U.S. labor market where job creation is slowing, workers facing longer job searches. On its face, this seems to be bad news. But this is a situation where bad news becomes good news because keep in mind the Fed has a dual mandate. He came out all hawkish, right? Kind of establish credibility. And he did say he was going to have a couple of different groups look at how to be more technical, define inflation, upgrade their rather than using polls and stupid stuff like that. But coming out with the labor market cooling, that gives them reason not to raise and maybe even a reason to lower rates. And if you look at the odds, they're all moving in that direction. So bad news becomes good news with the labor market. And we do know what AI seems to do. NATO summit going on. That's why I thought Trump's heading there. He's going to. Of course, I guess that's about an 8-hour flight on the new Air Force One. But there's a NATO meeting today. And then, of course, the big news, Trump's supposed to be having Zelensky. It's funny. I'm sure he's going to come down hard on him because NATO didn't do much to help with the Iran. They really did nothing to help with the Iran conflict. So I'm sure he'll be coming at him hard. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that, see what's going on with it, see where it ends. Bitcoin fear and greed up to 24, almost out of extreme fear. I'm sure this number was before, hasn't really baked in the Saylor selling. We'll see if that changes it tomorrow. But still in extreme fear. Still at a level where we're in a buy zone to accumulate. Ripple has officially received its EU CASP license, making it fully MI compliant across 30 EEA countries. Ripple joins Coinbase, Kraken, OKX, among other major crypto firms cleared under Europe's MiCA rules. Of course, who hasn't been Tether and a few others. So in Binance, which is they're just trying to keep Binance out. So Quantum has a good idea. We should start a campaign to get Saylor replaced by Ansem. It's strategy. Yeah, Ansem coin, crazy. This Ansem coin. I mean, 378.90. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling I should have gone in a little heavier at 110, 120. And I even told a bunch of people, I might even have said here, I don't think it's slowing down, but man, who knows? Maybe does this break 500 million? Does it break $1 billion? There's no meme coin's done that in a while. It's definitely kicked off a little momentum in the trenches for sure. Bitmine buys 42,197 ETH, bringing total to 5.57422237 ETH. $10 billion worth. Of course, the bad news is there another $10 billion. They paid $20 billion for it, $10 billion, and they own 4.8 of supply. Their stated goal is to own 5%, I think, and they'll probably stop buying. But don't forget, unlike Saylor, they have it all staked, so they're making $1 million or $2 million a day. Maybe that's helping to fend off the wolves. I don't know. Goldman Sachs raised the AMD price target from 450 to 640. Yeah, you're right, Scott, man. Tom Lee going all in. He doesn't back off, man. I've been more worried about him than Saylor. Of course, Saylor's taking more heat right now. We'll see. But AMD price from Goldman Sachs from 450 to 640. This AI craze and everything is creating a lot of opportunity out there, which is competing with Bitcoin and crypto. SpaceX tomorrow morning, I believe before the bell tomorrow, gets included in the NASDAQ 100 and one of the fastest entries ever after IPO. But funds tracking the 100 may be forced to buy SPCX, creating automatic demand that could boost the price. See what the price is. That's kind of cool to be able to just hover over it and hit the price now. 167.13, so up 3.17%. Yeah, looking pretty solid. I mean, I haven't started buying any SpaceX. I'm kind of hoping like other major IPOs that we have that 55% dip. I know Steph, our guy, once our friend, now our enemy because he's from Belgium. In fact, I think we probably need to block him, Scott, from all our shows till we dispose of Belgium tonight. But no, he's actually mining a little fiat, took on a summer gig to help out a major hotel there and bar. That's the industry he comes from, to earn a little fiat and buy some more Bitcoin and stuff. So shout out to him. But he's a technical guy, TA guy for Heine Community, and also helps me out quite often on the GM Bitcoin show. But he said his call is to buy it under 100, which I certainly would. But it'll be interesting to see if we get there. But yeah, these are the kind of things that help it. So going on the NASDAQ 100. Vitalik published a new Ethereum proposal for an extremely lean chain. The proposal aims to shrink consensus state, move validator balance updates into ZK proofs, and re-anonymize validators on daily for stronger staking privacy. Problem is, that's good news. The bad news is it's a 3 to 4 year plan. So, man, I don't know if they have that long, but maybe they do. But they're at least working on it, so that's bullish for Ethereum. I thought this was crazy. Mark Andreessen on Joe Rogan saying, we had meetings with the Biden administration where they told us to not even start AI companies because there's no way they let them succeed. That was the Biden administration. Joe Rogan, what do you do after a meeting like that? Mark Andreessen, you go endorse Donald Trump. So anyway, let's check back on the markets. See how they're doing. Yeah, we got to just let this settle. We're first week back. We're still in summer, but we're back from the holiday. Next holiday, I think, Memorial Day, end of August, 1st of September, whenever. So, right now the NASDAQ up 1%, Dow down 0.09, which is nothing, and the S&P up 0.47. Ansem coin 373. The Bitcoin bull, the white bull is 1.1 million, still holding strong. Ankita 31,000. And of course, let's look at the real ones here. Bitcoin up over 62. That's nice. Yeah, nice. So up 0.4% since we checked a minute ago. So pop dusting itself off. Solana 80.75. So that's a nice rebound from Solana. Very nice. Yeah. So that's it, man. The big news. Let's just wait and see what happens. If we can hold over that, 62,000, close over this 52-week moving average, I'll feel good. 200-week moving average, I'll feel good about it. All in all, it is what it is. We lost our biggest buyer. Now he's dumping on us. Let's see how we handle it. Let's see what happens. All eyes on the 13th. They came out over the holiday with the final verbiage for the Clarity Act. Let's see if that gets passed, comes up for vote and discussion on the 13th. So That's 8 days away. Let's see how we handle it. But thanks for joining me. I think all things considered, I'll take it. I wish Saylor hadn't sold, and I wish he had just taken the week off, but I guess he feels like this was the right choice. Otherwise, I believe we'd be well over the 63, 64. But anyway, it is what it is. We are. We show up no matter what. Thanks, everyone, for joining me live. Feel free to join me over on the Bitcoin GM Morning Show coming up at the top of the hour in about 6 minutes. And we'll talk some more about it. World Cup. Let's talk a little World Cup here. I forgot. Give you a little recap. Yesterday we had Norway, big upset over Brazil. The Vikings coming in strong with their Viking row, getting a lot of hype. England over Mexico in a hard-fought game at 10,000 feet. So Brazil and Mexico head home. They're out. Norway and England move on today here in 3 o'clock Eastern. Portugal versus Spain, and USA versus Belgium, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. The two big games. I heard Scott saying on his space, I don't think the U.S. ever made it to the round of 8. So we'll find out. But that's happening in World Cup. So watch some World Cup. Continue to enjoy that while we can, and enjoy this heat wave. And I got a little hiking in. Had a good 4th of July. Hope you did too. But we're back to business. So thanks for joining me. And feel free to join me in about 5 minutes on the GM Bitcoin Morning Show. We'll break it down there in more detail